You gotta take yourself out and you gotta know. I'm like, bro, am I losing it or is conversation even real? Hey amigas, welcome back to my channel. So I know it's definitely been a minute since I've uploaded, and I went a little dark on you guys, and I'm sorry. I know. Sorry for your background noise. My brother's in his room playing his game. So I went to Mexico and it was just like the best time of my life. I'm sorry if I get like cough attacks throughout this. Like, I've been sick. Just like tell you guys. I mean, just like I tell you guys about my breakup, because I didn't mention it in the last video, but I was in a relationship, but now I'm not anymore, because there was like a lot of things happening within it that I just like wasn't like okay with, I guess you could say. It was a lot of the controlling and the toxicity that was going on that I was like, no, like I'm so checked out of this. Because like a lot of my family like doesn't know this, because like when it came to this, I was always I guess you could say, sorry, I have to like touch up. I was always very private with my relationships. Like, I didn't let my family know about them. Like, I've been in lots of relationships. I know like what I want and I know what I don't want, and my last relationship was something like I just didn't want. And let me like tell you amigas about it, because like so you could like know what you like just don't want. Because like I know everybody says know your worth, pero neta que tú si ni tú misma sabes de lo que eres capaz de hacer, y si tú no le defiendes a ese vato, a esa mujer, entonces quién lo va a hacer, porque tus papás no van a estar aquí para siempre. Your brother, your sister, like they're not going to be in that situation. They're not always going to be able to take you out of that situation. So you gotta get your ass, you gotta take yourself out, and you gotta know what's right. Sorry. So you gotta know what's right. Start off with like the 3 things that I guess that really got to me. And this is by far like not in order or like the top, I don't know. These are some of the top things that just like really got to me. That was like, this, I can't. One of the things definitely was, okay, so like this is prior to me going to Mexico. My boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, let's call him E, asked me to turn on my Snapchat location, and I did it. Like, it was like, this is like kind of like during the summer, like June. Like, first started dating like kind of February, and this is like kind of June, so it's still kind of new, like I guess you could say. So he had asked me to turn on my Snapchat location, and I told him like, yeah, like I didn't think much of it. But like later on, like I was like, what the fuck, because every time I didn't respond to his text or something, he'd go to Snapchat and he'd be like, oh, why aren't you responding to my text, but you're active on Snapchat like 2 minutes ago. And like eso como que no me gustó desde el principio, pero like, you know, like I didn't think much of it. I let it like slide or whatever. But then like when I was in Mexico, I'm like, you know what, like no, I'm not gonna be about this shit. Like no, just no. So I turned my location off, and it took him like a few days to realize it. And then like once he did realize it, he like texted me like right away. He asked me like, hey, can you turn your location back on? And he always came up with the same excuse. It makes me happy and it brings me joy seeing your location on. I don't know how the fuck that does that for a person, but like, be real, like no mames. But whatever reason that brought him happiness and joy seeing my location on. Usually I'd let that slide, but like this time I'm like, no. I told him no, because like it like honestly made me uncomfortable like having it on, because then I felt like forced to reply to him, and like I didn't want that. And he didn't care. Like, él le valió. Like, he was like, no, like please do it for me. Like, I want to have it on. Like, I want you to, like, I want it on. Like, please do it for me. Please, please. And, like, the same shit. And I was, like, not budging. I'm like, no, I shouldn't have to have it on if I don't want to. And that was, like, one of the reasons that I ended up breaking up with him, because of that. Because, like, it wasn't even, like, the thing, like, itself, like, as with Snapchat. It was the fact that, like, I emphasized and I told him, like, I have the messages, like, to, like, prove it or whatever. It's, like, it makes me feel uncomfortable having it on. And, like, even, like, such, like, he still, like, was still, like, please, like, can you please turn it on? And that was, like, the big thing. It's, like, aunque yo me sentía incómoda teniéndolo puesto, a él le valió, like, that's it's, like, oh, well, like, okay, like, that just showed me a lot. Another thing was that I'm very close to my family, as I imagine some people are, and on New Year's I like to spend that time with my family. And so him, like, he wanted me, because I didn't tell him when I was coming back from Mexico, and I wanted it to stay that way. Pero preguntó si if, like, on New Year's we could be on the phone. And I told him, like, yeah, like, once I'm done with my family, like, being with them, then yeah, I'll call you. And él me dijo que no quería eso. Like, he wanted for me to be in my room at 12 o'clock on New Year's, call him and tell him Happy New Year's, and then go be with my family. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, no, like, I'm gonna be with my family on New Year's, and then afterwards I'll call you and I'll tell you Happy New Year's. He's like, he got pissed about it. He's like, no, we're not doing that. Like, you're gonna, well, said no, you're not gonna fucking tell me what the fuck to do, first of all. And that shit's, like, not gonna roll with me. Like, you're just, like, not gonna do that. And, like, I gave him other solutions. I'm like, we could do it afterwards or whatnot, but I'm being with my family during that time, like, point blank. That, like, that's just done. Caso cerrado. Aún así, like, that wasn't enough for him. I wasn't budging. I'm like, no, like, I'm not doing that, because I was, like, not about that. Like, I was not gonna do that. And that was another issue that just kind of led to the breakup. This one kind of, like, there wasn't, like, a big kind of reason behind it, but the thing was for me to get, like, you know how close I am to my family, and, like, you're just being petty. Like, you're, like, acting like that for what? Like, you know? So this last reason, I don't know, you guys probably do know, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the soccer team America. Well, in December they won the championship, and my celebrity crush Calvin Alvarez is on that team, and it just kept on popping up all over my TikTok, all over my Instagram, and I was reposting it, and he got pressed about that, and said, like, that it wasn't right how he literally flat out said, it's not right how you're reposting other guys, meanwhile I have a boyfriend. And that wasn't right. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm allowed to have a celebrity crush? Like, he was just, like, making it seem like I was in, like, such a wrong and doing such a bad thing for having a celebrity crush and reposting another guy. It was, like, especially him. Like, why him? And I'm just like, I'm allowed to have a celebrity crush. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. He was telling me, it was like, oh my god, like, am I, like, because, like, we got on the phone and he was like, that's not right how you're doing that, and how you keep on reposting him. I'm like, bro, am I losing it, or is conversation even real? How he's telling me that I'm not allowed to have a celebrity crush and that that's not right. Like, we're on FaceTime. He was like, he pulled up, like, a Safari search. Is it normal for your girlfriend to like her celebrity crush more than her boyfriend? And I'm just like, bro, this conversation even, I, like, said that out loud. He's like, yeah, his conversation is real. Like, what do you mean? Because, like, and even, like, this, like, that didn't make sense to me, because, like, the stuff that he searched that came up, like, didn't make sense. Like, it said that I compared them a lot. I never once compared them. It said that I talk about him all the time. I literally wasn't even allowed to talk about it, because he would like lose every time I brought up a celebrity crush or something. And 3, that I'm obsessed with them. Like, I'm not a crazy fangirl like that. Like, yeah, I have a celebrity crush, but I won't like, I'm not a fangirl like that. I won't obsess over it, like, you know. And so yeah, another thing he kept on saying was that what if one day I meet him and then I cheat on him, and like what if one day I meet him and I do something, and then I'm like, that's not gonna happen. And that's where the trust comes in the relationship. And I'm like, do you not trust me? And he's like, no, I trust you, but what if? And he started like going on about like, what if this and that, and then I meet him and then this happens. Like, not addressing it like as bad as it was, because like it was bad, like the way he was like telling me it, like saying that like, oh my god, what if? And like at this point he's like kind of like not losing it, but he's like, he was losing it in a way. He was like freaking out and everything. And I'm at that point, I knew like that this is not my person for me, that the person that I'm gonna end up with like would never like do that. Like, oh, and meanwhile afterwards he's like, maybe we just shouldn't have celebrity crushes in our relationship. I think that's fine. And at the end of the day, it's like that was controlling, and there was like lots of toxicity in the relationship. And that's just like something that I just didn't want for myself. And like family members that had like passed away that meant a lot to me, I always like to think what they would have wanted for me, and I knew that that is not something that they would have wanted for me. They would not have want me to be with a person like that. And just like, it was like a lot of other things I guess as well, but those were like the main things that got me in that moment. Because like even since before, like I was like feeling it, like I don't want to be with him. And like I'm just like, maybe it's the distance that's getting between us, because like I was in Mexico and he was here in America, and I was feeling like that. But then like afterwards I was like, no, I tried waiting to like maybe after when I got back and everything, then yeah, and then maybe it got better. Maybe it was the distance splitting us up, but like no, it just wasn't. It was like I just like wasn't in it anymore. I didn't want to be with him anymore. Like that's not the person for me. And then like he tried to fix it up that night, like make everything good between us. And I may have told him like, yeah, everything was fine, just so like I could get off the phone. But like that night I was crying, I was a wreck, because it's like I shouldn't feel this way and this shouldn't be happening. So to make sure I wasn't overreacting, I called my girls. And like, one thing that I love about my girlfriends, and I feel like this is like, everyone just needs that one person that's like, that's their friend, but that's also not afraid to tell them when they're in the wrong. And I have my girlfriends that do that. They have for sure told me in times when I'm in the wrong in situations, or when I'm doing too much, or when I'm not. And like, no, like he's like you're not in the wrong, like you have every right to feel the way you feel. And like they were trying to convince me and tell me like no, like give it till you come back. And then like that night he was like still like spamming my phone. He texted me like 18 times saying that he's sorry and that he loves me and he hopes things are okay between us, which is fine. It was fine. And then like that night I took off like our TikToks that we had together, and I took off our IG post, but I still had him on my highlight afterwards. And that was that. Then the next morning he spammed me again, good morning, that he loves me and he hopes that we're okay. But then like I guess he checked my Instagram, my TikTok, and he saw that he would like our posts like weren't on there together. And he texted me saying like hey, like I saw that you took down our TikTok and Instagram posts, and like that really like I'm not trying to gas at you, but that made me really mad and upset, and I'm allowed to be heard in this. That like literally just like brought back everything. And he just showed me that he just like wasn't gonna change or anything. So it's like, I'm not gonna try for this person if they're not gonna change. And it just like the same energy from the night before was happening again, and I just didn't want that. I'm just like, no. So then like I talked to my mom, and I like I didn't tell her that I was crying and all that, but I told her enough, and we both came up with like what to say for me to like tell him, and then like I sent it in a voice memo because like we were together for a while, and I feel like that's something that needed to happen face to face, but I couldn't because I was in Mexico and I wasn't gonna last that long waiting. So I sent a voice memo. I feel like he deserved better than a text or a voicemail, and he was in school, so yeah, maybe I should have waited till after, but yeah. And like not even an hour ago, he's been texting me and like to get his stuff back, and I blocked him on everything except on my spam account. So we talked, and I gave him his stuff back because I had like a hoodie, a shirt, a remote, and a baseball hat of his. And we talked, and he was like, I just like want to talk about what happened and why things ended the way they did. And I told him that things ended the way they did because of the talk. Like there was like a lot of things going on that I didn't agree with, and like it just like, end of the day, it really was whatever he wanted, and like he didn't care about what I wanted in the end of the day, and I just like, I didn't want that. And I feel like there was a lot of growing that needed to be done in both parts. Yeah, and he told me that, what did I mean? Because in the text I told him that I'd felt like this for a while. I told him, yeah, I felt like it was always like whatever you wanted and not really whatever I wanted, and especially with the Snapchat thing and then the New Year's thing. And then he was like, well, yeah, those were things that I wanted, but those were like, I would have been upset about them, yeah, but we could have gone over them. I feel like there was a lot of communication that could have been done better on both, like on your side. He told me he was like trying to like see if we could like fix things and get back together, but like I told him, I'm like, yeah, and like I feel right now we both need growing on like both ends that need to be done. And I'm not saying that you're not my person, but for right now, like I don't want this. I'm not saying it won't be like that for the future, but for right now, like I just like, I don't want this. And yeah, it's pretty much what we said to each other. And this is like the whole time me and him were talking, I was like fighting for my life to not laugh. I wanted to laugh so bad. I don't know why. But yeah, and then the day I'm like, I'm happy we're not together. When we broke up, I felt like this way of like relief, like like finally, like I'm free. And it shouldn't be like that, you know? And like I had an amazing time in Mexico with my cousins and everything, and just I was the happiest, and that's how I should feel all the time. And I was like my best version of myself in Mexico, and like I want to work on myself more and learn how to be more independent and like do better, focus on school. And yeah, let me know if you guys like want me to make this a series, I guess you could say, and just talk about this more and like address like story times about other guys, not just but like other guys that like I've dated in the past, and things like I did tolerate that maybe I shouldn't have, and things in the past I didn't tolerate, just to like really like open the eyes to people. You guys know like you shouldn't tolerate that shit, like, you know. But yeah, bye guys.